Hello, happy Wednesday? Yeah. For some reason I felt like yesterday, like October 3rd was Wednesday. Maybe this is like a Mean Girls thing. Maybe I assume October 3rd is always on a Wednesday. I don't even know if it was on a Wednesday in the movie, but for some reason my brain associates it with that. Does yours? Like, when I say October 3rd, what day of the week do you associate that with? Weird question. In looking at the gifts to add to that last story, I realized why I think it's a Wednesday, because on Wednesdays we wear pink. I figured it out. Okay, back to business. Speaking of pink though, this guy, reading assessments bundle. This is my 3rd grade one, but 4th and 5th grade are combined in this as well. Just a reminder, they're on sale for $19. So that's 68% off the value price through midnight tonight. That's through 11:59 p.m. Central Time this evening. They are normally $3 a piece, so that means there's one free. So that means that if you bought every single assessment set, there's 20, you would pay $57. But you can get them for $19. So I mean, that's the best flash fall deal we've had all year. So yesterday I did a whole walkthrough on how we actually administer these snapshot assessments and basically why we administer them, how we take that data and inform our reading instruction to create small groups to truly differentiate. Right now, I'm going to show you what's actually inside the bundle so you can see, like, when you download the file, what is in there. And I'm going to show you, what's this one? I'm going to show you the 4th grade one, but keep in mind there's one for 3rd grade and then one for 5th grade as well. All right, you can kind of see my reflection here a little bit in my dirty computer screen. This is the 4th grade bundle. So in here, you've got 20 files, and then there's a bonus down here. I'm going to show you that in a second. But of those 20 files, you can see that they are numbered, and then each one has the reading skill that it focuses on. So that first one, 01 up there, it's the free right there in making inferences. You can go to TPT and download this for free if you want to check out the quality of these right now, if you wanted to. Then we've got theme, summary, character setting, and events. So the first 10 right here are going to be your fiction, and then the next 10 down here are going to be your nonfiction or informational text ones. All right, I'm doing this with my left hand, so wish me luck. So I'm going to open this bonus file. This was newly added, so if you already own these, go re-download this, because in here, this is the easy print version, so I'm going to back you up a little bit. So in here, we've got all 60 assessments, no teacher's notes, no answer keys. Like, if you just want to print all of these at once and then put them into a binder for yourself, this is the easy print file. Like, if I go through all of these, you're going to see every single assessment. So again, we've got short passage right here and then short amount of questions, because these are snapshot assessments. So we can take data for where a kid is at that exact day, not where they were at in August, not where they're going to be at in January, where they're at with this specific skill that single day, either before instruction for assessment A, in the middle of instruction for assessment B, or at the end of instruction for assessment C. So you can see that they are labeled down here. Like, this is B. You can use the paper version, and of course, these all come in digital self-grading. I use digital for these. I'm a paper person, but I prefer digital for these because I want the data. With the Google Forms, that same exact passage is up at the top. There's just 5 questions. Now, these are multiple choice. If you are a school that does short response, you're going to have to manually grade them yourself, but you can absolutely very easily just go click, click, change on the Google Forms and change the multiple choice questions to short response, and it automatically gives the kids a text box to answer it for you. Now, I use the multiple choice because that's what they're going to see on their standardized test. This is just a snapshot of where they're at. This is not going in the grade book. It's for me to differentiate and drive my instruction. Let me show you what it looks like after everybody has submitted their answers. Let me show you what I see. All right, so here's the form. 20 kids have submitted their answers here. I can just easily click over to that tab, see their responses. Now I can go through this data right here. There's no names on this, so you don't have to worry about me showing you everybody's answers. I can go through this. This is like aggregate data that shows me everybody. But if I click this button right here, view in sheets, it's going to open up all of the kids' answers, like when they submitted it. Now, I deleted this column from here, but using Google Classroom, you'll have the kids' names here. That's gone because I don't want to share that with you. But so I have student number in here. This is their score, and then these are like all of the answers that they answered. Here's what I do with this. So here are all my scores. Now I'm going to show you what's next. All right, so I click on that column that has their score in here, and I'm gonna right click here, and I'm gonna sort this from Z to A, because that's gonna put my highest scores at the top and then my lowest scores at the bottom. If you wanna sort it the other way, just go A to Z. So now we have our lowest scores here and then our highest scores here. Now, this is where decision making takes place to start differentiation. Okay, here's what I've done. I have deleted all of the unnecessary columns in here. All of where the kids put their answers in, I just deleted those columns. I can go back to the grade book and see what their answers are if I really want to. Normally here I'd have student names, but that's private, so I just have student number right here. This is all sorted from A to Z, where I have the lowest score on the top and the largest score, or the highest score on the bottom here. Now, this is not a tutorial for this. I'm just showing you what I do. If you want me to go more in depth with this later, tap the little heart in the bottom right corner of this story so I know. But I am going to format and then conditional formatting. And then from here, I'm going to color scale and choosing this one right here and then just hitting done. Now there's a million ways you can do this, but I had that highlighted, select that color scale, and it automatically color coded all of my scores here. So my lowest scores are in this deep red, and then I've got my, obviously it gets a little bit lighter, and then highest scores are in this green right here. So I am going to immediately start creating my groups, my small groups that I'm going to work with. I know that kids that scored a 0 out of 5 on this assessment, those are the kids I am working with first. Now, I had 3 kids score a 0 out of 5. I like to have groups of 5 or so just so I can see everybody. So I'm actually going to select these first 5 kids, and I'm going to throw a box around this. Now, check this out. I'm just throwing a box. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me try that one more time. See, this is a learning curve that's going to take a second, but once you learn it, it's going to be so easy. So here's my first group of kids. For time's sake, I just went through and grouped all of my kids for you here. So group 1 that I meet with first, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. I keep all of my kids who get 100% together because I can use some enrichment with them. My kids who are at a 4 out of 5 pretty much just need that tier 1 core instruction here. My groups that I need to see first are going to be these red guys right here. I know for certain I need to scaffold for them. I need to differentiate for them. I need to see these kids to get them to somewhat of proficiency here. My group here in the middle, notice there's only 3 kids here. The reason why I put those 3 kids together is because they are right on that cusp of probably getting this instruction with either core instruction or a little bit of support. This is a smaller group because I'm probably going to spend the least amount of time with them because I bet that I can get them here or here pretty quickly. Now, that data set that I just showed you, that is a pre-assessment. So that's assessment A. I have not taught core instruction yet. That's a compare and contrast one. I haven't taught compare and contrast. Those are just the grades the first time the kids have seen it. The kids who scored 5 out of 5, you're going to know who those kids are. Those are your high achievers. They're going to need some enrichment. You're going to know who's in that group. But here's what I'll say. Those kids who are in that red group are not always going to be your kids who are in the red group. You might have some frequent flyers in there. Those are your kids who really need some support with reading. But because these assessments are based on the skill that you're learning, just because a kid is proficient with inferences doesn't mean a kid is proficient with text structures or with vocab. So because these groups are fluid and they're changing, we do this 3 times a week. I do one at the beginning of the week before I teach the lesson, one in the middle of the week after I've taught core instruction and some small group instruction, and then I do one at the end of the week so I can kind of keep on my radar like who is not proficient yet, like who do I need to watch out for and continue to work on this skill. So they take that pre-assessment, we get rid of the jitterbugs and the anxiety. We talk about how we're just seeing where we're learning. This isn't going in the grade book. And yes, it does take training to get kids used to like the fact that this is not going in the grade book, but you still need to apply yourself. It's a training process, but we get there. I deliver core instruction. Now I know who scored a 0. I know who scored a 1. So while I'm doing whole group instruction, I know to keep an eye on those kids who scored a 0 or 1, even during whole group instruction. So I can provide, walk up to them, like make sure they're on task or make sure, check in with them. But then after whole group instruction, when I pull my first small group, we personally do reading centers. So I set my kids into reading centers and then I pull a small group during that time. I'm pulling those kids who scored a 0 out of 5 and a 1 out of 5 first. We are meeting together first. So Monday and Tuesday, I am meeting with my 0 out of 5 and 1 out of 5 groups. Those first 2 groups, once on Monday and then once again on Tuesday. So I meet with those 2 groups Monday and Tuesday. Now, I give a second assessment on Wednesday, halfway through. So we've done small group instruction, we've done some reading centers, and we've done whole group instruction. Now when we take the second assessment, we're looking for some growth. We're just looking for any growth, even one question, just any growth from the first assessment, because now they've actually had core instruction. So you're probably thinking to yourself, so you don't meet with everybody every single day? No, I do not. Because tier 1 instruction is preventative instruction. You should not, if it's preventative, you shouldn't be moving into tier 2 and needing small group instruction or scaffolding. Kids can receive tier 1 instruction, and that can be the program because that's grade level instruction, and then you can go into small group. And of course you can check in with those kids. Of course you can do some sort of assessment. but you might not have to scaffold for those kids because core instruction is enough. Now, what I will say is that 5 out of 5 group, I do make time for them to make sure that I am enriching them, because if they are already proficient at that skill, chances are that's when like some behaviors start, or like when, you know, kids are reading under their, you know, they're sneaking, like reading their little novel under their desk and stuff. So I do make sure to meet with those kids who do need some enrichment and provide that for them. But this is differentiation. You are the best differentiator there is. It's you. And by the way, all the while when we are taking assessments, we are using the student data tracker, and kids are marking down their scores either digitally, that's the digital version, or on their little paper version. I use the paper version because I send it home to parents. So they're keeping track of their growth, they're going through the metacognitive process, they're seeing their upward trajectory, so they're building that self-confidence, they're building their independence too, because they know what they've got to do to, you know, get to proficiency basically. And it is a game changer. So off my soapbox, one more reminder, I linked that free data tracker on the last slide. So if you didn't grab it, tap back, hit the link, it'll be emailed to you. It's enormous. There's an editable one. So even if you don't use Common Core state standards like I do, you can use the blank one and then just create this for yourself. Now, what I will say, that's the data tracker. If you want the assessments that pair with it, if you bought them all individually, again, $57, 68% off through midnight tonight, it's $19. For the whole set. There's 60 assessments, a beginning assessment, a midway assessment, and then an end assessment. Best deal that we've ever offered on this, and then it's going back up to full price tomorrow. So I will link that here for you one last time. If you have any questions, there's a message box down here, or just send me a DM. You can email us, whatever you've got, send it my way. I am happy to help. Hopefully this process helps you guys out, because doing this for reading, because I did this in math for a long time, but doing this with reading changed my teacher life. Like, and I mean it. Oh, and one more thing. I usually don't ever link to TPT on Instagram because it never works. I don't even know if those links on the last slide worked. So if you can't find the assessments and you're trying to scramble because you don't want to miss the 68% off sale, here's what you're going to do. Go to TPT. Go to the Teacher Next Door TPT store. When you get there, on the right-hand side of the store, there's a search box. You're just going to type in assessment bundle. All 3 bundles will come up, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. TPT, Teacher Next Door shop, search assessment bundles in there, and you're good to go. Again, through midnight tonight, 11:59 technically.